Welcome to Perfectly Imperfect Me 365, the podcast where we get real about mental health, messy growth, and being human one day at a time. I'm your host, Rachel, and together we're navigating life's chaos with honesty, compassion, and a little humor. Let's get into it. Welcome. Hi, friends. I am so excited because we are actually, for the first time, doing this live in a podcast studio. And I'm wanting to just welcome my first guest, you're like my guinea pig in this beautiful space, Debbie Roppo, who is a board-certified health and wellness coach. And so you could read her bio, you could read everything in my show notes, but I just want to get into it because obviously as a licensed clinical social worker, I work with a lot of people and I teach skills about just regulation and things like that, but I also teach how important it is to take care of our bodies. And I don't think a lot of people recognize the necessity of listening to your body and also listening to your gut of like what's going to work for you. So let's just get into it. Tell us, like, how did you get to where you're at right now to do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to thank you for having me, and I'm very excited that I'm the guinea pig. Yay. It started really in 2013.
Okay.
I was the office coordinator at an orthopedic surgeon's office. And prior to that, at that same office, I was the x-ray tech. And so I still did that off and on if the current x-ray tech would call off. And one morning, I woke up and I could not take the covers off of my body.
Wow.
I couldn't put my feet on the ground. That morning, I crawled on my elbows and my knees to go to the bathroom. My joints were, the pain is hard to describe. It was excruciating.
Wow.
And because I had worked for orthopedic surgeons for so many years, I knew what the diagnosis was.
Wow. So had you ever experienced any kind of pain or discomfort like this prior to this happening?
I had one time I was out and I was doing some mulch, and that night my wrists and ankles swelled up really big. But it wasn't so painful.
Right.
Went to the emergency room. They really didn't know what was going on, and it just went away. And I think that I had some symptoms, but you know how that goes.
Right. You brush them off.
Yeah,
You're just so
it's
busy.
okay. I'm busy. I'm tired. I'm all
Right.
of these reasons.
It's this I ate. It's that.
Yes.
It's I did too much. Right.
Yes. Yeah. So when I went to the doctor and I got the blood work and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, it was a punch in the stomach because as an x-ray tech for 20 years, I had x-rayed, it's primarily women, that year after year after year, I watched them come in and I watched the progression of what was happening in their joints, literally the x-rays of them.
Wow.
So there was a lot of fear.
I can imagine.
The doctor told me I had to be on medication and that I would be on medication for the rest of my life. And because I watched the journey of so many women, I told them I just wanted to just let me do my own research. And I started
How'd they feel about that?
They were not at all thrilled.
Right. Which is really important because the other thing I want to say for my listeners, right, obviously to protect my license and also to protect yours, you know, and your certification is that this is not medical advice. This is something that you've experienced, you learned, you did the research, you found what worked for you. You're not telling people who have RA to just stop any medication or do your things, but you're just educating as what has worked for you and what you have found.
Yes.
Because what's important is that the medical doctors think about it that way, right? And there's so many other holistic paths that many people can take, should take, or are afraid to take because of the guidelines.
Yeah. This is my story.
Yeah.
That's what this is. That's what I want to share.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. And so after getting that, the doctor actually said, quote, if you don't take the medication, you will be in a wheelchair in 5 years.
And that was in 2013. And here we are, 2026.
Yes.
And you don't look like you came in this door in a wheelchair.
No, I did not. And the first thing that I found out that really opened everything up for me was I found out that the United States ranks about 27th in chronic care.
Wow.
And that was a real, wait a minute, okay, 27th, that seems pretty low.
Right.
So what are the top 10 countries doing? What are the top 5 countries doing in chronic care? And that's where that kind of rabbit hole I went to, and that's where I found functional medicine.
Okay.
Is where we really look at the root cause of what's going on, and we support the client, and that's what I did for myself. I started to change the way I ate. I changed my movement. I changed my environment. I cleaned up a lot of toxins that I had zero idea were affecting my body.
So when you say you cleaned up your environment, can you give us like a little bit of like insight into what that looked like?
Yep. Started purifying my water.
Okay.
I got air purifiers. And then I started to pay attention to all of the creams and lotions and lovely things that us women put on our bodies, finding out there's about 36,000 chemicals that are legal in the United States that are illegal in Europe because of the toxicity levels.
Oh,
and
I'm scared to look at my whole box of cosmetics.
Yeah, it was quite shocking. I was shocked by it. And as we know, when we have these types of chemicals, they affect the hormones. Well, those hormones they create chemicals in the body. So, and you have reactions. So there's this whole plethora of things that I looked at. I looked at, organic foods, and even the environment, as in what was my relationships like.
Oh, wow.
What was my environment of my friendships, my work environment. So everything.
So not just like the house you lived in.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, I really went through all of it. And after I did the physical part, the food, the nutrition, the environment, the physical environment,
right,
I got about 75%. And it was incredible. I couldn't believe how much better I got.
Was that 75% difficult though to get to? Because I've got to imagine if you're looking at foods, you're looking at the environment where you're living, you're looking into the things that you do on a daily basis, the creams that you put on your face that you may have used for decades, right? To now have to start making changes.
Yeah.
Right. Was that difficult? Because I think like we live in a world, let's just be honest, right? I mean, I'm older, so I grew up in a time where we didn't have instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
But now a lot of people in this generation are all about instant gratification. If it doesn't work right away, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because people give up so quickly.
Yeah.
Right? But sometimes like the effort that you have to put into doing those things may not create that space of like health and like freedom at that moment, but maybe in like 2, 3, 4, 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a bit of a buffalo.
Okay.
Once I make a decision,
You just charge.
I'm sure you've heard the story of the buffalo, right? So when a storm comes, they're the one animal that puts their head down and goes.
Right.
And it's just my personality.
Okay.
It's just who I am.
Yeah.
So when the doctor said to me, you're going to be in a wheelchair in 5 years, I had a little bit of a, you think so?
Right. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, a little bit. And so the physical side really wasn't terribly challenging for me.
Okay.
I'm quite disciplined, and that was pretty easy, to be quite honest with you. But I only got 75% there. And I was, what am I missing?
Right.
What's this missing link that's going on? And when I talk about that 75%, so much happened. I had to reduce gluten. There's so many things that I did.
Right.
We could talk for 3 days about all of the, it's not a magic pill. Everyone say, what's the thing?
Right.
Well, there's no
combination of
such thing.
probably everything.
And it's going to be different for every person.
Okay.
So what worked for me is not going to work for the next person.
Right. Okay. How long did it take you to get to 75%?
About 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, this is not just like a quick fix overnight. You could probably feel better along the way. I mean, I can only relate because I have celiac. So I understand that when I cheat, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
When I stick to my program and I'm completely free of all gluten, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
And, so it's a process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I do say if you have a health coach,
Right.
you can speed up that process, right? So that is, I was figuring it out. So
Right.
it took me a year to figure it out on my own.
Because at this point, you were not a certified health coach, let alone even thinking of that.
No.
Okay. You were still doing the radiology, like the technician, things like that.
Yes. So after I got that 75%, and then I really had to explore, okay, what's this? I know that there's a missing piece. There's a link somewhere that I'm just not connecting. And that's when I really started to dive into the mind-body work. And I didn't know that every thought we have starts a hormone, chemical reaction in our body. And I started to realize the way I was thinking, my internal dialogue, the way I thought, the way I talked to myself and processed things, there was like little chemical poison that I was putting inside of me. And when I learned that, everything shifted. That was a huge aha for me. And it was kind of funny. And I don't know if your listeners will hopefully get this, because I think with the women that I work with, they certainly do. When I first, and this happens with my clients all the time, I'll ask them, well, let's just explore your internal dialogue.
Yeah.
Just curious, what are your thoughts? How do you talk to yourself? And I'm talking about the woman standing in the mirror, no makeup, hair not done, naked with bright lights.
Right.
Like,
no, 100%.
What do you think about her?
Yeah.
What do you say to her? And most of them, like myself, when I first started, it's not that bad. I'm a little
so
bit
invalidating, right? Totally.
Right. I'm like, it's not, I'm rough, but not that bad, until I started paying attention. And it was constant.
Yeah.
It was constant. You're stupid, house dumb, if you make a mistake, whatever is happening, this constant abuse.
Right.
Just like someone getting bullied on the playground and how that affects you and what that does to you. Sometimes some of us women have one of those in our heads.
Yeah. I think most of us do. Because obviously I'm a therapist, right? I have a lot of self-confidence. I actually feel better when I'm not dialed up and I'm just in my own authentic self, right?
Yeah.
And I've worked a lot on my self-image and things like that. And that's something else that is a whole other podcast. But one of the things that I've worked on a lot is being gracious to myself and speaking to myself the way that I would want to talk to a friend, or I would talk to a friend that I cared about, right? You wouldn't tell your friend, oh, that's so stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You would say, you know what? It makes sense that you would go that way. And you know what? Let's learn from that.
Yeah, exactly.
But just that little shift. And that's what I teach my clients about that shift, but it's amazing how that little dialogue, I'm 54, still pops its head.
Yeah. I'm 58, so I get it.
Dang, you look amazing.
Well, thank you very much. It was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Just the simple thing of when I made a mistake, oh my God, you're so stupid. My default is, you try so good. It's amazing. Look at you. You've tried. Right? Just like coming here, brand new, never done this before. There wasn't fear, it was excitement.
Yeah.
And I think that takes time and energy. I went to counseling, to therapy for 5 years. I had a lot of childhood traumas.
Okay.
And so this dialogue was trained in me. And
you just did what you knew.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that was a big piece of it. Once I got that mind piece and I started working through all of that, the rest of it, my symptoms have disappeared.
Wow.
Now, to this day, when it gets really crazy and it's super busy, maybe I'm not being as attentive to my
as
mental.
Mindful, yeah.
I call it tingling. I'll notice a tingling in my joints. And immediately, as soon as I feel it, you're like, back up.
Okay.
What's on your schedule? What can you get rid of?
Right.
What do we need to do? What did you eat? And just kind of pay attention and clean up whatever's in the way there.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to open that door up to say, you know what, I really need to take a look into myself? Because obviously I work with people who come every day and some are really motivated to just deep dive into help me go really deep. And then there are some who still just want to keep that wall up.
Yeah.
And I think I might even fall into one of those categories. Like when I see my therapist, I'm like, Rachel, are you really sharing?
Yeah.
Are you really being honest?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm the buffalo there too.
So you do that.
my therapist even
So
said
you're
to
anomaly.
me, yeah, my therapist even said to me, she says, I have never had a client that is so just, let's get it, let's
Driven.
figure it out. And I think that I'm that way. I give credit to my dad. My dad was a super creative, like learn and explore and be really curious, because curiosity will always give you an answer. So to this day, I love putting the mirror up. I love putting up the mirror up and looking at the ugly and the dark because I know that it's not good or bad. It's just information that I get to play with and say, oh, wow, gosh, I walked past that beautiful woman and it made me feel ucky. Isn't that strange? Let's play with that. What's that about?
Yeah.
Every little experience, anytime I felt anything, I would just, get really curious and no judgment. I think that's the piece.
That's the piece. I was just going to say, have a curious mind. Like I tell my clients, just what if you looked at it curiously? Curiously? Not even a word.
With curiosity.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But not judgmental of it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I think that?
Yeah.
I want you to just say, you know what? Like, wow, what's going on there? Without judging yourself, because that is so true.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a game changer too.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much how I got to where, so obviously I found functional medicine. I became a board certified health and wellness coach.
Right. So after how many years did you decide I'm going to actually make this shift? Because that's a big shift. I mean, although it's still in the mental health world and in the medical world, right?
Yeah.
It's still a different shift. It's a different path.
For sure. I started kind of coach. I had always been my office. I had my own office, and I always had someone sitting in my chair asking me questions because I was always interested in health, and they would ask me questions about this or that. So that was something that I always kind of played with, and I loved it. And I'm gonna say it was probably a year when I was, this is what I want to do for a living. And then I started the process of going to school to become certified. And I know that that's something that we had talked about sharing, that less than 10%, and in some data it says less than 5% of coaches are board certified.
Right. And this is a big piece because we talked a little bit offline about this, that, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm licensed in 10 states because I have people in those states. Right. Now, I could say I'm going to just be a coach in certain areas, and there's a balance there, right? And I think that having a license and then also kind of doing some coaching, I guess they can go hand in hand. It's the part that gets dangerous is where people just call themselves coaches, and they might have life experiences, but they haven't gotten the training like you did and the training like I did, right? They're not mandated to take CEUs. They're not mandated to stay up to par with like the newest information. And that's important because I think a lot of people spend so much money. I know I have received clients who've come to me after spending tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches that had no training, no licensing, no certification. And they just really did more harm for the clients. And this is a very important piece. And this is why I really said to you, I want you to explain what do you have to do for your board certification and keep up with it, because I want people to recognize that there's nothing wrong with going that avenue with a coach, right? You want to make sure that, just like a therapist, I mean, you could find plenty of therapists that can do a lot of harm, okay? Yeah. But what led you to say, I'm going to get board certified, and that's the path?
I think being in the medical field almost my whole life as an adult woman, it was something that I respected. And so I wanted to make sure that I got the right qualifications. Okay. And it's interesting because I was thinking a lot about, after we had that conversation offline, I think the most important thing that as a board certified wellness coach is, and that was collaborated with NBMEs, right? Okay. Is that right? National Board Medical Examiners, the one where doctors get their license.
I think so.
Yeah, our credentialing was a collaboration with them. Okay. That the most important, in my opinion, is I know I've been trained what my scope of practice is.
Right.
I'm not diagnosing people and I'm not giving treatment to people. I'm supporting what treatment and diagnosis they've received.
Okay.
So for an example, if the doctor says, ma'am, you have diabetes,
Yeah.
right? She comes to me, then I can help support. He's got 15, 20 minutes with her.
Right.
So you need to lose weight. You need to bop, bop, bop. She walks out the door. She's like,
How do I do that?
Yeah, she's kind of like, no shit.
Right. I know this. Right. Yeah.
Right? I know this, but I've been trying to do that for 55 years. How do I do it? And that's where I can step in. Okay, let's look at some things. And we got to go through the process of what it looks like to live a healthy lifestyle. Because 70 to 80%, the CDC says 70, 80% of chronic disease is lifestyle related.
Wow.
So we could do a lot of work in that area.
Right. So you don't just work with people, women, men who have RA. You work with chronic illnesses, autoimmune disorders, diabetes.
Yes.
All these things.
Yeah. I primarily work with women 55 older.
Okay.
And that are business women. Women that are go-getters. They want to live a vibrant, strong, powerful life. I have a lot of retired women that are badasses. I mean, they are out doing the things.
Okay.
And their bodies are not keeping up the way they used to. They are not sleeping as well, putting on that weight that they just can't seem to get off because what they did in their 20s just doesn't work anymore.
Right. I know.
Right.
I'm a little annoyed about that. Like, what the heck?
Right, exactly.
Like,
right. When I was 20, I could do
right.
like 2 sit-ups. I'm like, okay, good.
Right.
Now it's like 702.
Right. And now I just look at a Pizza Hut pizza and I put on 5 pounds, let alone like eat that for midnight in college. Like, come on.
Right. And the bigger picture, if we kind of zoom out a little bit too, is what we were eating when we were 50s.
Right.
The same exact product and what we're eating now are completely different things. So there's so much education that can happen with a client to help support them.
Right.
And I think that's what's so important about being board certified is I know my scope of practice. I'm not going to treat depression.
Right.
But I've had depressed clients that I've been able to baby step them into little changes of food and movement and relationships. And, if that's a boundary, I wonder what would a boundary look like? You should talk to your therapist about that.
Right.
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 And I'm constant. I even interview. I have an interview process because I'm very strict.
Yeah.
I've turned many clients away because I know that I'm not. They need more than what I can offer.
Right.
And
so that's the difference between somebody, in my opinion, who's board certified, right, and knows there's limits.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, go back into my profession. There's plenty of clinicians who are licensed and still don't know their scope because they want to work with everything. Like I know my scope. I know my limits, right? And I think it takes a really strong clinician to be able to say, you know what, I would love to help you and I'm not the best fit for you.
Right.
Yeah. So when people come to see you, right, and they get some coaching from you, you're not, and let's say they come and the doctor says you have to be on all these medications. You are not, and I'm going to put words in your mouth, but I'm thinking you're not telling them get off that medication at all.
Never.
Right. You're just giving them that support of other things that if they wanted to get off that medication, that would be a choice they can make with their doctor. But you just provide them with support of things that can reduce the inflammation, help with some mental clarity, help with sleeping, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I don't know if this is true for you, but like when I assess somebody in my practice and they say, I just can't sleep, and I just can't sleep. And I said, okay, you know what? I would love for you to keep just a food journal. That includes all of your drinks, all of your beverages. I want you to write down what it is and the time of day.
Yeah.
Why do I need to do that, Rachel? Just humor me. Just 3 days. It doesn't need to be perfect. I don't care where you write it. It could be chicken scratch. It could be on your phone, whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to see. I'm just curious. And do you know, 9 out of 10 of my clients that come to me and hand me a 3-day worth of their food journal, the amount of caffeine and sugar that they have within 2 hours of bedtime.
Yeah.
And they weren't even really aware of it. Like they didn't think, even like, I know my limits. I'm not a I'm not a caffeine person. I'm a pretty hyper person as it is. So give me caffeine and I'm running on these ceilings, right? Like me and caffeine don't go together, right?
Right.
At all.
Right.
Even decaf a lot because it still has some caffeine in it. So I'm a caffeine free kind of person. However, if I have some chocolate, like after 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm going to be tossing and turning. And I generally forget about that until the next morning and be like, why did I toss and turn? Why did it take me an hour and a half to go to sleep?
Yeah.
And then I think back to what I ate and I'm like, oh, I did have those chocolate covered almonds at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So it's important to also know, right? Again, it's not a bad thing, but like if you are really working on your sleep, then you have to work on everything together.
Yeah. 100%.
And be mindful of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleep is one of my pillars.
Yeah.
There's 12 that I have, and sleep's one of them. And it's so vital. I'm a bit of a 2-year-old when it comes to my sleep. So I go to bed really early.
Really?
And I wake up super early.
Okay.
And I'm up at about 4:30 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Same.
But I go to bed.
What time do you go to bed?
I'm
not judging you.
Sometimes 7:30. I go into my room and will read until about 8, and then I'm out.
Oh my God, I envy that.
I sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
Literally like a small child. And I love my sleep.
Yeah.
Because I know people often talk about what's the best? What's the top thing? And we say, what's the top thing? If that's the first piece that I often look at is if we can because even in the basics, the biological piece, yes, the physiological piece, yes, but we all know it. When you have a bad night's sleep, or am I going to choose that or am I going to choose that? Hell yeah, I'm going to choose that thing over there because I don't care.
Right, of course.
Right? So I really, sleep is such a huge part of it. And women that are 55 and older, that shifts.
Yeah.
It's a big shift.
Well, I actually had this discussion with my group the other night, and I was talking about, because I'm teaching the please skills, and as a DBT therapist, we talk about the mind-body connection. And a lot of times when we don't take care of our physical body and our mental, it impacts the emotional piece, right? Makes us more susceptible, more vulnerable to negative emotions, right? And we're talking about how much sleep do you think you need?
Yeah.
Right? When I was in college, in high school, like I was the kind of kid that you gave me 6 hours of sleep and I was running with it. I was so energetic. But if I slept 7 hours, I dragged like there was no tomorrow. Well, now that I've really worked on my sleep, I'm starting to be like 7.5, 8 hours. Holy cow, I wake up, I'm energized. And it's amazing that shift, because I was never that high school kid, that elementary kid, that college kid that slept 12 hours.
Yeah.
I said I would never have those type of kids. And then my kids are like 12 hours. They're getting up at 12, 1 o'clock. I'm like, what is going on here? You cannot be my kid.
Yeah.
But the reality is that I just also was like an anomaly in that sense, right? 6 hours, 5.5, 6 hours was like perfect.
Yeah.
I would be that one that was up at 4 a.m. going for runs.
Yeah.
And being in bed by like 10.
Yeah.
You know?
You bring up a point that's really interesting, and it's something that I have to work with my clients a lot with, is that what'll happen is they are hoping that they're going to get back to how it used to be. And what I help them see is that ship has sailed, darling.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's not a gorgeous, amazing ship over here that we can jump on board. To say that you're going to come work with me and become, as a health coach here, and I'm going to make you feel like you're 20 years old again. I'm not.
Right.
Disclaimer. It's not happening. Right. But I can support you in less pain.
Yeah.
Better sleep. Your numbers, the blood pressure, we know stats show us that someone that works with a health coach, blood pressure drops, A1C drops, weight drops, increased movement. These are all just facts. So we can make huge shifts, but it's not the same shift. And that's a huge piece.
Absolutely. Because it's that part of almost having to come to this acceptance of I'm not this way.
Yeah.
Right? And now this is the journey, this is the path that I can go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The women that are out there that have gone through this will think I'm crazy when I speak this, but I loved menopause.
Holy cow, you are definitely, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
I have friends who have described it as crazy bad.
Right.
And you loved it? What did you love about it? I hope I'm like that.
This is what, it's because I was educated and I knew what was happening.
I need you to educate me so I don't get there.
So one of the biggest things
Yeah.
is we get some brain fog and we've got these little things happening in our body. How you experience menopause is greatly determined what your metabolic health is. So, for example, in Japan, they don't have the huge fluctuations of symptoms like we do in the United States because of we have so much processed food and we eat the way we eat. Our stress levels are crazy. And so for me, when I was going through it, one, I had already been on the path of really healthy. So I didn't have huge ups and downs like a lot of the women do. But with the thing that really switched it up for me was when I found out that as a woman goes through menopause, 3 times the brain really dramatically actually changes in a woman.
Okay.
At puberty.
Yep.
After birth, after giving birth.
Oh, wow.
And
the first time? Or does it change every time you have kids?
I can't answer that. I don't want to say for sure. But I think it is each kid because the oxytocin goes up and all so that
I guess
becomes
it's a
bonding.
good thing that I only had 2 then, huh?
Yeah. But it's not a negative. And
it's not a negative.
No,
okay.
it just
See
changes.
where my mind just went?
See, exactly.
Totally.
Right. And then menopause, it does again.
Okay.
So these forgetting and all of this, part of this is natural. But what's happening is this is how it's kind of explained that synapses are kind of being clipped in the brain.
Okay.
We're done people pleasing.
Oh, yeah.
We're done doing things that aren't of interest to us anymore.
So I don't care group anymore?
Yeah, that's why that's this whole group of, I'm so over it. I'm so over it. And what I like to think of is, this actually makes my hair stand up because this is the wise women of the village.
Yeah.
This is when we start to really come into ourselves and we start that authenticity becomes such a power and passion. And that's where I'm in the process of trademarking the inner empire, that inner woman, that strong, powerful queen. It's unveiling her. And that's menopause is like a jump start towards that. And so will I say for every woman, the symptoms could be really dramatic in menopause.
Right.
And that has a lot to do with metabolic health. So that's something that you can adjust. It doesn't have to be so extreme.
Okay.
But knowing—
How does one know what their metabolic health is?
It's like your blood pressures, your weight. There's, all these different— yeah. So— but when I learned about, and then I also learned, which is fascinating to me too, is that there's really only 2 mammals that go into menopause that live long after the reproductive years.
Okay.
Whales.
Oh, dear God.
And women.
Oh.
And there's 5,500 mammals.
That's crazy.
And they have, it's called the grandmother effect. So in a whale pod, if a grandmother's in the whale pod, the babies live longer, they're heavier, they're safer, there's more community. And it's the same with us women.
Okay.
That as we age and get into this wise woman of the village, we're able to stand up and say, that's not okay. We've got the bravery to say that. So
it's not like we have to get heavier and to feel safer.
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I started picturing myself as like a whale. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but
I don't think I'm going to accept that.
Yeah, so it's that understanding that the menopause isn't a decline.
Okay. It's a shift.
It's a shift into this incredible woman that we're called to be.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think that as we start to get older, right? Mm-hmm. And, I've struggled with my own body issues and things like that. And that's a whole other story. Like I said, in a whole other podcast. However, I'm definitely, as I'm getting older, I'm when I hop on the scale and I see a number that I may not like, I'm like, okay, keep going on, move on. Whereas if I would have gotten on the scale 10 years ago, probably, and seen that same number, I probably would have been like, my entire day was ruined, my entire week was destroyed. I'd shift to, you're not doing this, you're not eating that, and all those negative thoughts, right? All the negative put downs. And now I'm like, you know what? This is who I am.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
My tongue is sharp. Like, I know that. I know I still can, you could still care about not hurting people, right? And not like offending people intentionally by any means.
Absolutely.
And still be part of that I don't care club anymore.
Right.
Because that's, I don't care club is more about like the need to like fit into a two or the need to like look a certain way. I know more people are starting to like embrace like the wrinkles and like the fine lines, you know, I mean, I'm putting on cream. Like I haven't gotten Botox in a long time because I'm not going to lie. I saw some chick on TikTok and she had what I guess they called like botulism.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a lot. I got my little line here, right? But that scared the living heck out of me.
Yeah.
So I've just been like slathering stuff on, but now I got to go check out to make sure that they're all good.
Yeah.
Or
You
like,
can use the Yuka app. Y-U-K.
So funny.
Is it A? Yeah. Y-U-K-A. It's a little carrot.
okay, I've never heard of it until last week. My son called and said, Mom, I'm getting shampoo, literally FaceTime me. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, which one's best for me? I'm like, I don't know. Like, just make sure none of them have fragrance in it. In my mind, thinking, because, you know, sensitive skin.
Yeah.
And then he was with his girlfriend at the time. And she's like, here, just look at this. And I'm like, what is it? She's like, it's just an app. It tells you like, and it gets, I guess, numbers.
Yeah.
It's like 83 or 52. And I guess that I've got to check to see if that's what they're using.
Yeah, it's food and beauty products. And you just scan the barcode and it gives you a grade.
Value.
It tells you red. You
stay away.
Don't put it on your body. And then it's got yellow, green.
Oh, I'm going to have to check this out. But I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous because I spend a lot of money on my beauty products because that's really been something I've been focusing on. Just also, it's part of my self-care.
Yes.
Right? Getting up in the morning, stretching, washing my face. I've always washed my face. But now noticing that like, you know, my mom did tell me when I was much younger, Rachel, use a toner. And I'm like, I'm not using that. That's like so silly.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, ooh, how many toners can I put on my face? Because I like to skin flood and it's so nice.
Yeah.
But I now need to go check all those products.
Yeah. I have all organic products, all clean products.
Okay.
And I have, it's taken me some time, especially the makeup piece, to find good makeup, especially for women. You know, like I said, I'm going to be 60 years old here in just a couple of years. So, you know, there's fine lines and wrinkles and all those things. So how do you cover most makeup nowadays? It makes it look worse.
I don't wear a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
My eyeliner is permanently tattooed because I had such sensitive skin and my eyes were so sensitive that I would try every single eyeliner and mascara, and the doctor's like, Rachel, these are the options you have.
Yeah.
And my eyes were always bad. So I just like, and it's been now, I don't know, 15 years and it's been great. And so I put mascara on because when I tried to like cover up my dark circles, I'm like, what is that? That looks like I have some cake in my eyes there. Like, that looks disgusting and not very nice. I'm just going to go bare.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you're so right.
Yeah, there's a lot of really incredible products out there now that...
So if somebody works with you, and obviously supporting them without telling them what your journey was, and this is what, you know, do you offer these product lists to people?
100%.
Okay, so if somebody comes to work with you, they get what? Tell us that. Just like kind of round this out. Like what does it look like for somebody to come to work with you?
Yeah, I love this question because it's not a one size fit all. I'm such a believer in bio-individuality. I've been doing this for over a decade with women. I know very well that everybody's unique and what is going to work for one woman, even if it's the same situation, is not going to work for the other. So really it's me exploring. I believe I have a superpower of asking questions.
Oh, I love
and
it.
figuring out, you know, what do they most need? And what we do is what's the lowest hanging fruit that we can do so that you can start seeing success. Because most of the women that I've worked with have lost weight or have tried to go on a health journey 100 times. Then they're off the health journey. Everything goes back to the way it was. And they're back on the health journey. And then they maybe lose some weight, feel a little bit better. Then they're off of it. And this is just this cycle. I want you to work with me and be done.
So your cycle stays consistent. Like it's not going to be a roller coaster throughout your life.
Exactly. I tell my clients, as soon as you start work with me, you'll never be on a diet again, ever.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Because we
Hear
know
that, listeners?
Yeah. We know that, about 80% of diets fail after the 1 year. And I think it's even like worse at the 5-year mark. So we know it doesn't work.
Right.
So stop trying to do it.
Yeah.
That white knuckle kind of thing just doesn't work.
Right.
So what I'll do is what is the main area of focus that you're looking at? What do you want?
Right.
Do you want to lose weight?
Because that's different for everybody too.
Right. It depends on what they want and what their goal is. And so we kind of just start with that. We figure out what it is that you really want, which is quite challenging for so many women to.
I bet you probably get similar to like people who come in and say, okay, I want you to tell me like some of your goals. And you get the generics. I want to be happy, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to be independent, right? I want to be healthy. Well, what does that look like? Because health for some people may be just to be able to get out of bed without joint pain.
Right.
Health for some people may be able to say, you know what, I want to be able to get through the day without having to live off of 5 cups of coffee.
Yep.
Right. So it's so different. But there's where you have to use your curious mind.
Exactly. And what's interesting is what most of the time I get is what they don't want.
Ah. It's easy for people to say what we don't want,
right?
Isn't that?
Well, that's where that thick, if you drive a truck down a dirt road, you get these ruts, and that's the process. They'll start rattling on everything that they don't want, and I got it. I'm very, very clear on what you don't want. What do you want? Okay. And they normally will go down what they don't want again. Right. And I just keep asking in different ways until we start to get to, well, I'd like to, and they start on that path. And that alone can be life-changing for some people. Just to start, wait a minute.
I can have that.
Yeah, what do I want?
Right. Well,
what do I really
sometimes
want?
Like some of those self-limiting beliefs, right? Because we're here today.
Yeah.
Right? I've never done this in a podcast studio.
Right.
Live. It's very new.
Yeah.
Right? I was also excited. I was a little nervous when I came in here because I just was like, oh, what am I going to expect? Right? And the reality is that like a lot of people don't take that space to say, you know what, if I could have anything in the world and there was no limitations, what would it look like? And I started to answer some questions that I literally have been struggling to answer when my therapist asked me, like, what is it that you want? Because I think the belief that we can't have certain things, whether it's because of finances, because of time, because of, do you have the skills, right? We don't even think that those are the things that are actually keeping us from knowing what we want.
Exactly. And that's really what I explore first. Let's get your goal, right? If you're a ship, or I put you in a ship and we have no destination, chances of us getting there are going to be pretty slim.
And you're going to be so frustrated.
Yeah, and you're going to be traveling all over the place. You're just going to. But if we can identify, this is what I want. This is what I'm interested in. This is what my dreams and hopes are, then we can start to create a lifestyle that aims towards that. And that looks different for everyone.
Right.
And what you're ready for.
Of course.
If I say,
not everybody's your buffalo.
Right. No. If I say movement, I literally there's one client that I said the word, it was at the very beginning of my practice, and I said movement, and she literally deflated in front of me.
Really?
Right. I said exercise.
Right.
And I never used the word, I just stopped using the word exercise. Now I say movement.
Oh, I like that shift.
Right. So I said,
I have to think about that.
Are there ways that what things do you like to do when it comes that you move your body? Well, she loved to garden.
Oh.
Okay. Well, you're not ever going to go to the gym again. What?
Yeah.
No, you can just garden, and we'll find other ways for you. And she didn't know that. That wasn't something that she thought was even a process or real. And a lot of people think, well, no, you got to go to the gym.
Right. You got to do it for this long.
You got to do this. You
Yeah.
got to do this. You got to do this. If we look at the blue zones, where there's the most people, men and women, that live into their hundreds without disease.
Okay.
The top 9, these people, they don't go to the gym. They don't take supplements. Right? they live, not that I'm against any of the things, I love supplements, but they live a lifestyle that's movement prone. They eat real food that's most of it coming out of their own gardens, and so
they don't need those supplements.
No, because they really actually have real nutrients. They have the number one is, we all know this now, right? I think it's a 50% increase in, don't quote me on that number, but I believe it's a 50% increase in premature death is loneliness.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they have huge communities.
Yeah.
Right? Huge communities where they can have, you can just walk into the neighbor's, home and snack and have a glass of wine with them.
Yeah.
And, so I think that's one of the biggest things and points that I like to get out when it comes to health. It's not this crazy restrictive, oh God, here we go again. It's not. I eat anything that I want.
Right.
Because I eat an 80-20 lifestyle. 80% of the time, the stuff that I have in my home is perfection. 20% of the time, I eat anything I want, kick my heels up, enjoy it, and don't feel any guilt or shame. I eat the rainbow.
Yeah.
When I'm in the grocery cart, looking in, do I got something red? Do I got something yellow, orange, whites? Yep, good. I do POP AF is how I create my meal plate.
What do you do?
POP AF, protein, omegas, probiotic, an antioxidant, and fiber. Do I have each of those on my plate? Yes, I do. My meal's good to go.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So those are the...
Oh, geez, you would really be judgmental of my plates.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you know why? Because I think I struggle there. I can make myself a really good salad, right? And it's interesting because I'm a great mom. I will definitely toot my own horn. I'm a great mom. I have a fabulous relationship with my two beautiful, healthy kids. And growing up, right? My youngest, ultimately at year old, we found out he had a severe food allergy. So my entire world in my house had to shift. He was allergic to dairy, soy, eggs, and he was anaphylactic to peanuts and tree nuts. At 1 year old, I found this out. I had a 2.5-year-old. Okay, they were 18 months apart. My world shifted because now I'm a picky eater. I had my 2.5-year-old or 3-year-old that was eating, and I had my kid who had all these food allergies. So I'm kind of like making 3 different meals, right?
Yeah.
And I found that because of my youngest not having he couldn't have soy products. And there's so much soy in a lot of healthy vegetables, right? He couldn't have black beans. He couldn't have legumes. He couldn't have peas. He couldn't have any of those. So his two carbs were carrots and corn, which are like, they're still great, right? And they're the highest of glycemic index, right? And so it got to sometimes where I would just give them chicken.
Yeah.
Nothing green, nothing yellow, nothing, of value, because he would live on pasta. And then I just had to radically accept that, I did the best I could with the knowledge I was given,
right,
and what I could do for him.
Yeah. I think that's so important because that's the bio-individual piece.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be so different because that young gentleman, he's going to have a different...
To this day.
Right.
His food, although he does try.
Yeah.
And I praise him for that. He's not a big fan of vegetables, right? And that's, again, a learned thing.
Yeah.
Right? He did try salad once, but again, he didn't have that. I mean, he didn't have dairy until he was 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't have pasta with butter.
Yeah.
It was always olive oil. He didn't even have sauces because it was, so you learn a lot of these taste buds and things early on in your life, but there was also some fear for him.
Yeah.
Right? And so growing up, just what was safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is. It's definitely hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the part that I love the most about coaching. I love the exploration of how can we get you to where you want to be the fastest, healthiest way.
I love that.
What can we do? And it has to fit you.
Yeah.
So, what's the very best exercise? The one you love doing.
Exactly.
That's the very best one. I don't love exercise. It's not my favorite thing. I got a rebounder. It's so fun.
What's that?
It's, oh my gosh, it's
I love exercise too. I've never even heard of a rebounder.
It's the small trampoline.
Oh, you jump on it?
I jump on it like I'm a 5-year-old. I
no
put
way.
music, I dance on it. It's the funnest thing ever. And what I love about it is it does so many things at one time. It's incredible for lymphatic drainage. It's great obviously for cardiovascular. It's great for muscle because you're doing that bounce, right? And for women, the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
For my ladies that have incontinence, I had a client who had to wear pads all the time because of incontinence.
And she got
her on a rebounder.
No
and
way.
Within 3 months, gone.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Is it dangerous though for people who are klutzy? Because I have to tell you, I'm a little klutzy when it comes to things like that. Is there a bar?
You can get one with the bar.
Okay.
I have the bar. I don't put the bar on it. I've been doing it. So but you can just hold on to the bar and do it.
Look into
fun.
that.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Because I've definitely, as I've gotten older, I've shifted. Let's talk about, right? I had an injury almost 5 years ago, coming up to almost 5 years, right before my 50th. I had an injury on my bike. I was training for one of my half Ironman. I didn't fall, but the way my neck, when I hit a little pothole and I was on my aero bars and my neck and my shoulders they went complete opposite way, and I gave myself severe radiculopathy. It was basically like whiplash.
Yeah.
But it was 6 months of pure hell. And since then, I'm still in PT, right? Because I don't want to take the medication. I'm not a candidate, thank God, for surgery. But I've done a lot of the holistic approach, right?
Yeah.
I do acupuncture, dry needling, laser,
good for you.
and PT, right? But I've also shifted. So I'm not running 40 miles a week anymore. I maybe run 2 or 3, right? I haven't gotten back on my bike like that. I do a lot of walking, but I do more strength training.
Yes.
And so it's interesting because my mind, it doesn't give me the same high that I get from running. However, my body feels so much better. And it so I have to just remind myself, like, it's just an emotional piece I'm still getting health. You're just not getting that endorphin of like running.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's something hard, I think, for some people, especially if you're an adrenaline junkie, which I am not.
Yeah.
Right. But shifting and accepting what is going to be better for your body as we age.
Yeah. It's just like we were talking about. It's that you're not on this ship anymore. You're on this one.
Yeah.
And there's changes. But for me, when I'm visualizing, I see this little ship over here, and I see this massive, beautiful, huge one. It's not less. It's just different.
Yeah.
That as we age and as we grow, it's different, and you can still do movement. You can still do all the things, right? It's just you're going to have to do it just a little bit different. I feel, like I said, mentioned a couple times now, I'm almost 60 years old, and I have more energy. I have more mind clarity. I have more confidence.
Right.
I love my
that.
world has changed so dramatically. You couldn't make me go back to 20.
Right.
I absolutely love, and people often say, yeah, well, except for my body. No, thank you.
Right.
I feel
I'm the same
strong.
way. I feel the same way. I feel I feel like stronger, better, more beautiful in this body today than I was when I was in high school, college.
And we talked about it earlier. You had said a little bit about your body image.
100%.
I had some severe body dysmorphia and as a young girl, and I look in that mirror now with no makeup, hair not done, naked with bright lights, and I adore her.
Yeah.
I adore her.
And for my listeners, if you're listening to this, I do need you to get over to the YouTube channel to actually take a look at Debbie, because Debbie, you say you're almost 60 and you look stunning. And I think people don't realize, so you should go check her out on the, just go watch because there is a part of this. I do put this on the video piece on YouTube. But for the listeners who just are listening to it, you may just want to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm actually creating a digital course right now on skin, because so many of my clients are like, what?
Yeah.
How do you? And that's the cherry on the top, darling.
I love that.
You start changing your lifestyle and you start doing the things. It's incredible how I look 100% 10 years younger than I did 10 years ago.
Oh, so do I, because I've started to take care of my skin.
Yeah.
I've always worn sunscreen, but I've now literally covered my face when I've gone out. Like if I'm just taking the dog for a walk, hats on.
Yeah.
Right? I no longer bake in the sun with suntan oil.
Yes.
Right? And I use my toners and I use my creams and I use my hydration things. And I'm not ripping apart, like exfoliating all the time because, you know, I'm taking care of my skin.
Yeah. It's actually something that I have a lot of my women do when it comes to when it's time to sit down and do your ritual of moisturizing.
Yeah.
Do it slow.
Yep.
And take some time in honoring yourself.
Absolutely.
I am, if someone saw me, if I was actually videotaped on what I do, they'd be like, damn, girl, you like yourself a little too
You
much.
could ask my husband. My husband will say, when are you going to start your process? Because it literally could take 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's my time.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I recognize that. And in the morning, you know, he's out to work, so I can do my time. At night, it gets a little trickier because I'd like to spend time with him. So sometimes I'll start my process and get my face washed and do all my whole self-care. So I'm not rushing it.
Yes.
Because I do enjoy that.
Yeah. And I think it's so important for us to remember this is the vessel
100%.
that carries our world. When I was talking about that inner empire, I always say that the health of your inner empire is 100% what determines what your outer empire is going to look like. Whatever that looks, what it is for you. I don't care if you want to live on a farm and, you know, and that's your thing, or you want to be a CEO badass in, you know, whatever it is. Whatever your outer empire, it's all comes from here. And as, like I said, I do work with mostly business women. So many of the women, one of these days, as soon as I'm not busy, then I'm going to start, I need to do this.
Always excuses.
Yeah, there's always reasons and the little symptoms. The body's like, hey, I'd like to let you know something. I'm whispering over here. I'm whispering over here. And we just keep shutting it down.
Start listening to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And that piece of it, if you can just say, you know what, wait. And I say this to my women, it's part of your business strategy.
Yeah.
Your health is part of the business strategy. It's not something outside of it. Because when you walk into a networking event and you're got clear mind and you're able to remember their names.
Right.
When you're at a business meeting and there's talking about something else, a new topic, boom.
Right.
You have the memory. You're sleeping well. Right. It matters.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference in your business.
I love that. Well, Debbie, this has been amazing. And I mean, for the listeners, I'm going to put where they could find you in my show notes, but where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course I have my own website. And everything's Debbie Roppo, health coach. That's ROPPO.
Okay. Well, I so appreciate you. I'm so appreciative. This was so much fun. I'm loving this. Yeah. Right?
Me too.
And so, So thank you guys again for listening to and tuning in to Perfectly Imperfect Me 365. I'm your host, Rachel. And Debbie, thank you again for just being my guinea pig also. I love it. My first guest in person.
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me. And I just honor you and respect you so much for the work that you do.
Well, thank you.
And the way that you stand up for women and people. And that's that inner empire woman. And it's beautiful to watch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.